Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. This is where accounting professionals just like you come to learn the most efficient and powerful ways to grow their firm, sharpen their sales skills, and have consistent increasing revenue. We cover topics from sales, networking, handling objections, negotiation, pricing, finding those ideal clients, and how to get rid of the ones that just don't suit you and how to set those boundaries so you can stop giving away your time, working for free, putting yourself on sale, and really start to get paid for the value and the worth that you bring to your clients. You'll learn tips, strategies, as well as hear others from personal interviews from successful accounting professionals. This podcast will show you exactly how to create the firm and life of your dreams full of abundance. Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. Today we have a very special guest. Our special guest is the managing partner in Green and Sklar's LLC, which is a boutique tax law firm with offices in Connecticut and New York. He is the founder of Tax Rep LLC, which coaches accountants and attorneys on building their own IRS representation practice, and he is also the host of the weekly Tax Rep Network podcast. He is also the author of the Accountant's Guides to IRS Collection, Resolving Tax Debts, and Resolving Payroll Tax Debts. But before we welcome our special guest to the show, if you're an accounting, tax, or bookkeeping firm owner, you may not realize it, but you are leaving thousands of dollars on the table every single month. If you're like most of the firm owners that I've met in the past, you're undercharging for your work and you're working way too many hours for too little money. You're discounting your fees, you're negotiating on price, or maybe you're even caving in and doing some free work. And when you do send out a quote or proposal, maybe you hear crickets. I have helped 162 firm owners double their revenue, win back their time freedom, and they have collectively added over $10 million in revenue in just the past 2 years. And all of them did this without working more hours, taking on a ton of clients, discounting their services, or doing anything they didn't want to do. So if that's you and you want to come and make a change in your firm and bring this to an end, schedule your free breakthrough session with me and my team over at theabundantcall.com. We'll get on the phone for about 45 minutes and you can tell me everything about your firm, what you're charging, how much you're working, and we'll come up with a step-by-step game plan on how you can double your firm revenue this year. And if you want our help to execute that plan, we can talk about how to make that happen too. And if not, that's okay. Either way, the game plan we'll come up with on this call will show you the path to earning far more in your firm while working far less. So head on over to theabundantcall.com. And now let's welcome Eric Green to the show. Welcome to the show, Eric.
Michelle, thank you for having me again.
Yeah, thank you for, this is a fun episode because this is kind of a conversation about why you're not afraid of selling and I'm not afraid of selling and the stuff behind it and discussing the value and being real and confidence and all that fun stuff. But before we get started, for those of you listening that don't know Eric, can you share who you are real quick in 30 seconds or to a minute?
Sure. I'm Eric Green. I am a practicing tax attorney. The focus of my practice is civil and criminal taxpayer representation. The firm is Green and Sklar's, but I have an online community, Tax Rep Network. It's at taxrepllc.com, and we help accountants and lawyers learn to represent taxpayers and resolve tax problems.
Love it. And for you, Eric, why are you not afraid of selling? What do you think it is for you before we dive into our juiciness for the day?
Well, it's funny, Michelle, because a lot of people think selling is I have to go and convince this person, right? I have to figure out a way to convince them to. It's never been like that. What I have found, or let me put it this way, my sales approach, they have a tax problem. I can solve it. So when I talk to them, I want to just explain how I can help them and focus on solving the problem, not the minutia of how we're going to do it, not the form. Honestly, no one cares. It's really about, can you end the sleepless nights? Can you make the government go away? And so it's very much on getting them comfortable and explaining We know what we're doing. We can help you. That's it. And quite frankly, we rarely have someone not sign up with us. And it's really about their being comfortable and confident. I don't sit there and try to convince anybody to do anything.
Yeah. And I think your confidence is what exudes and has someone enroll with you and being detached from that outcome.
Let me just lay the groundwork here for what I think the issue is I get emailed all the time, and I got a few more last week, which is what prompted this,
Got it.
is how do you sell? How do you get yourself to sell, whatever? And what I think is going on, or at least what I'm feeling through these emails, if there's such a thing, is people are under the impression that to sell, you have to sit there and try to convince somebody, right? That you've got to overcome arguments and you've got to. That has not been my experience, and you are the queen of sales. So I wanted to. And by the way, I've never gotten the impression from you that that's what you're coaching people to do, and so
Never.
yeah, no. So can you sort of react to that?
Yeah, I think one of the most important things, Eric, to think about and for everyone listening is that sales is just another word to communicate. Sales is about connection, communication, building the know, like, and trust factor. And when you love the service so much and you believe in something so much, that process of communicating your belief and passion for it and that you can help solve whoever is in front of you, their problem, becomes the definition of a sale. And I'll give you a personal example. One of my girlfriends, she was my physical therapist for the last year. The physical therapy place decided to close down. And she also has a niche with helping women who have, I think the technical term is incontinence. Anyway, after a baby, they have the frequency they need to urinate, et cetera. There's a lot of exercises and things that a human can do in order to not have that problem happen. That problem, Eric, is so big. And I told her, I said, you could coach women on how to mitigate this, build those muscles, build the area of strength so they don't have to wear a diaper. And she's like, how? And I said, well, there's a program. It will teach you all the elements. I don't have time in my life to teach you that. I specifically work with accounting, tax, and, bookkeeping firm owners, teaching them how to sell and create and double their firm revenue and do all that fun stuff that I can't be a coach to everybody. But instead of undercharging for your worth by just trading your time for dollar, meeting with patient to patient, when she's working too many hours for too little money, which is the same problem that a lot of firm owners I meet come across, I shared with her this program and she enrolled in it. And she goes, Michelle, you're such a good salesperson. And I said, okay, thank you. However, I believe so strong about this program and I know how much it can help you. And I know that you have a service that could help so many other women out there that are challenged with this issue, and that you no longer have to trade your time for dollar and you can have financial freedom and you can create a thriving business. You just need the steps. And she enrolled and she told me this literally yesterday, Eric. And I said, yeah. She goes, Michelle, you've changed my life. I've already had people I'm talking to about this problem. I go, it's been a couple weeks and you've already made a difference in some people's lives. And you're not just going patient to patient. And that's what sales is. And I always share too, Eric, that for every firm owner out there that feels they're working too many hours, or you keep taking on more clients and you think that's sales, or you're increasing your fees and you're terrified that all your clients will leave you, that is a belief in yourself problem. That's a confidence issue. And I think, Eric, for you, what you have is this immense confidence that when you help a person who's in trouble with the IRS and you're so confident that you can change their life and get them out of their problem. Like, for example, I met one of your friends, a firm owner, Yoav, and he's helping one of my friends. it wasn't that I sold her on having him hire or having her hire him to get her out of IRS mayhem. It's that you guys are so good at what you do and you're leaving someone in a better place. And when you leave someone in a better place than where they started, that is the sales process. And you, to be honest, Eric, you're not convincing anybody, because the convincing is if they're going to work with you, they're in a better off position than where they're at right now. With my friend Natalie, the women aren't peeing on themselves just walking down the street anymore, right? With you, they're not paying endless interest, penalties, racking up all this stuff. And what about maybe getting a lien on their house or their bank accounts being garnished at any moment? That is a worse off position than you sharing how passionate you are about fixing their problem. And that
Right.
is where sales becomes.
Well,
Sales.
and it's interesting. You mentioned, self-confidence, which is really self-trust. It's really
Yes.
about understanding that you have the skills and that you can do this. When I sell, quote unquote, sell, what I'm doing is simply explaining, if it's in the law firm, I'm explaining what I do, what the options are. That sort of, if you're passionate about it, you believe in it, that comes across. I don't convince anybody of anything. In fact, what I would tell you is, in more and more as we keep getting busier and busier, I almost don't even care if they come or not as a client. But
Mm-hmm.
the
Can I touch
ability,
on that real quick?
or to say
When you,
that's sort of the fact that I believe in this. In fact, and I'll let you speak in a moment,
yeah,
but in fact, people don't. When I go and give a talk, people don't have to believe what I'm saying. That's not. I mean, I'm sure there are people that don't believe what I'm saying. They just have to believe that you believe what you're saying. And that comes through from understanding what it is you're selling, whether it's the coaching, like tax rep. I don't convince accountants and lawyers to join tax rep. To me, I'm just telling them about the opportunity and why I think this is interesting. I think it's a no-brainer. Some people are interested, some aren't, but I'm not trying to convince people to do tax rep that aren't interested. First of all, why would I? If they're not interested, they're not going to
they're
stay.
never going to do the work.
Right.
Yeah. But I wanted to touch on the fact that I think, I don't remember the exact words now that you use, but something to the point where it doesn't bother you if they don't even become a client. And one of the best power positions to be in with your clients is not only to not be desperate and not convince anybody, but Eric, you are completely detached from the outcome, is what I call it. And when you're so good at what you do, it's almost like, hey, I'm here to help you. I'm here to make your life better. I'm here to get you out of tax craziness with the IRS. It's up to you if you want to change your life. Here are all the ways and how I can save you money on interest, not have your wages garnished, not get liens, whatever the outcome is for that prospect. But at the end of the day, we're not attached to the outcome. I just had this experience, Eric, yesterday with a woman. I was 100% certain. And in sales, we actually are selling certainty and confidence. That's what I was sharing with my friend Natalie as well. I am so certain and so confident that you can build a coaching business helping these women. I don't need to convince you because my certainty is so strong. But on the flip side, the person might feel, wow, they can sell anything. It's like, no, I'm just that certain. And certainty at a high level can come across so confident, and it might feel like, wow, I was just sold. And it's just your interpretation, it's your belief of what that word means. But a woman yesterday, she didn't believe all the testimonials I have and how clients are paying, $1,000 a month for monthly bookkeeping and accounting work or CFO services. She only charges, I think, $5.95, and she just raised it from $4.95. For this discussion, I'll call her Joan. And Joan, I said, you've done really well, but in let's be honest, you're really smart and you're really intelligent and you hustle, but you still are leaving thousands of dollars on the table. It's no different than a tax rep client. who's leaving thousands of dollars on the table in interest and penalties and all of those areas that if they don't want to change, that's not our problem. Eric, it's not your problem. And if this woman, Joan, didn't want to make a change in her firm, she can keep spinning her wheels and keep burning the candle at both ends and keep working a lot and yes, making a lot of money, but sacrificing her work-life balance. And that's not my problem. But another thing that I think you do really well is that we take a stand for people. But we can't ultimately, they get to choose what they want to do. And when the choice is made and the decision is made to A, not do anything, or B, engage your firm, or like Joan, engage me or do nothing, she chose to wait, which in my mind is do nothing because nothing's going to change. They're only going to go back to the same behaviors because we are human beings. And in order to make a shift or a change, it takes massive courage. And a lot of times for the tax rep clients, they're in a lot of fear.
Yeah,
and fear gets in the way.
And we're talking two different things. So the again, on the law firm side, I don't even think of it as selling. They come in, they need my help. We explain, we're charging $2,500 now for an analysis, and people pay it, and it's
time to raise it.
It's no brainer. On the tax rep membership side, it's sort of the same thing. I mean, to me, it's, if you're coming and listening to us and you're looking at our stuff, you clearly have an interest in doing something beyond the bookkeeping and the tax returns and all of that.
Right.
I don't feel like I have to sell you on joining tax rep. All I do, and I think this is what I hope the takeaway is for everyone listening to this. I think there are two issues. One is your own self-trust. You need to get comfortable with the fact you know what you're doing. You have what you do is valuable, and get over this fear of hearing no. And in fact, the best salespeople will tell you once they hear no, that's when things get interesting. They want to hear the first no. I'm not sure I buy into that, but the point being is one is the self-trust aspect, but the second is if you believe in what it is that you are, and again, for lack of a better term, selling, right? If it's at the firm, what I'm selling is a good night's sleep, is peace of mind, is making the IRS.
You're selling the outcome.
No one cares about the forms. I can make very pretty forms. No one cares. They want to make the problem go away. They just make this end. I'm tired of fighting with my wife. I'm tired of waking up and my bank account is at zero and I've bounced my checks. It's really about that good night's sleep and ending the pain. And in fact, for those of you listening to this, on the selling your representation services, your marketing message is, I will end the pain. No one cares about the forms. No one needs you to impress them how brilliant you are. At the end, are you the person, are you the man or woman who can just make this end? I'm tired of this. I want to make it go away. On the tax rep side, it's, do you want to build six figures and not have tax season anymore and not have, and by the way, it's like a superpower. And I say that because the relief you can bring, I've never seen anyone do a 1040 and have people cry and send them gifts. It's a commodity. But when you resolve the problem and you can make tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars go away, the IRS go away, the State Department of Revenue go away, it's like the rock has been lifted.
Yeah, it's a weight off their shoulders. They can sleep peacefully at night, like you said. They don't have this glooming cloud over them that's like a thunderstorm that can explode with hail or snow or ice at any time. That's all removed, and that gives someone the sense of peace, freedom, and tranquility.
Yep. No.
Yeah.
And
I think something for everyone listening is to realize and start thinking about what are your sales beliefs. Some of you might think that selling is manipulative or sleazy. Some of you might think, Michelle, I'm not a natural salesperson like you or like Eric. Or you might think, well, Michelle, Eric, well, people just buy based on price. Or you might think, well, I'm just lucky to have my clients. I can't be that picky of who I work with. I need everybody. I need everyone to say yes. Or you might just say, like, I hate selling in total. I just don't like it. But if you own your own firm, let me bring you to shed some light. You signed up for a 24/7 sales career because you are the person in charge of bringing in the revenue, which is the top line item on your P&L.
But
And I want to share some alternative beliefs for you to think about and contemplate. And maybe, Eric, you've got some more you could add to this. But selling is an honorable and moral imperative for your clients, because if you don't share with them how you can get rid of their pain and sleep at night and save hundreds of thousands of dollars and have peace of mind, we're doing them a disservice by not helping solve their problems, or saying they're never going to go for it, or they're just going to tell me no. Also, sales skills is something anyone can learn. I have taught hundreds of accounting and tax firm owners these skills. It is possible.
But how much of it is sales skill versus a change of
It's
their point
attitude
of
and
view?
skill. It's attitude, point of view, and
Yeah,
skills. But the
because
attitude and point of view becomes a format of your belief system. So until we alter those beliefs about what your thoughts are about the word sales, because Eric, all of us have had bad sales experiences. We've all been to the car dealership and were haggled. Or you went to the mall and there was a kiosk in the mall and you were annoyed because someone was trying to give you something you didn't really want. All of us here, though, are in a service-based business of something that somebody truly needs to change their life once and for all, or to get out of a really, really big mess, especially for, the tax rep side of things. People will pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to get a problem solved. And another truth about selling is that people will buy based on value and feelings. So if they feel that you can provide freedom, not the form, like Eric said, or they feel that they can have peace and tranquility, not because of that you sat on the phone with the IRS for 15 hours to negotiate whatever deal, they will pay a lot of money. And I think another one for a lot of firm owners, Eric, is scarcity, because the scarcity mindset will sabotage us. And those are some of the first things that you really want to start thinking about and reflecting on and doing mindset work around, because I've met a lot of firm owners go, wow, Michelle, this is actually fun. I mean, Eric, don't you think the sales process is fun, and meeting with clients and seeing how you can change their life and get them on a new trajectory? Because if they don't make a change and engage your firm, they're in the same boat. They're not changing.
Well, I don't think of it as sales. So it's fun,
Right.
but what my thought is, to me, learning to sell is just getting comfortable with explaining what it is you do and the benefit that you can bring. That's sales, right? I don't have to try to convince you. And in fact, again, on the rep side, they're there because they have a need. Like, if for those of you who watch the movie Wolf of Wall Street, because he was this great salesman, and he's always like, try to sell me this pen, and they're always like, well, they're talking about the pen. Here's the real lesson for the true salespeople to do that. No one cares about the pen. It's a pen. It's, what do you look for in a pen? What is you? In other words, what do you need? I am going to fill the need. And if I can fill the need, you're going to buy. Period. The end. It's
And
not
how
like
they're
trying
going
to
to feel.
convince you to buy a pen because I want to sell you a pen. So if you were an actual salesperson sitting there, they take the pen and be like, what do you look for in a pen? Big? You like the shine? Do you like a little bit thicker to hold? And basically what you're trying to get at is, what do they need? On the rep side, I pretty much already know what they need. Now, I don't know, it may be a lien issue, it may be the balance and a payment plan, whatever, but they're coming to me with a tax need. And so for me, it's more explaining, yes, we can make this go away if you work with us. Yeah. The simplest sales process in the world, because all I'm telling them is what I can do. And for those, what I tell my tax rep members, and for those of you listening who are not members, it's not about trying to impress them with the technical minutia. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Nope.
They don't care. And in fact, you're turning them off.
Well, you lose them.
Yeah.
Not only is it a turn off, but if it's, you lose them in the detail and the minutia.
Right.
It's like the brain goes to, is he speaking Japanese? And then they get all caught up on these details, and it's getting them away from how they feel. That's really what's going on.
Right.
And that's the least important thing. And if you can just eliminate and stop that part of your process when meeting with prospects, you'll do really well.
Right. Yeah. And so, listen, I mean, for those of you who are interested, Michelle, this is what she does. All right. So if you're hung up about this, go out to the, Michelle, the pitch queen, but the abundant accountant. Michelle coaches hundreds of people on just this. My message would be that if you have confidence in what you do, you just have to explain what you do. All right. And they will come and they will hire you, and you should price yourself accordingly. Michelle can help you with that on making sure that you're charging appropriately. And what you'll find is, at least what I have found, is I have no problem asking for more money or whatever it's worth, because that's what it's worth. And I feel very comfortable that that's what it's worth. And, again, if they say no and walk out the door, okay. They usually don't, right? And part of that is your passion about what it is. Like, again, Zig Ziglar's have passion for what you're selling. And at the time, I'm like, for like the car or the pen, or like, how do you get passion? I think what he meant is, if you have to believe in what you're selling, because again, they don't have to believe what you're saying. They have to believe that you believe what you're saying. And that is when they get comfortable with you.
Yeah. And with the car and the pen, it's how do they feel driving the car? How do they feel writing with that pen? When they execute their book or their, poem of the day, how does the ink flow on there? It's not about the actual physical thing, which in our world, it's the form or the actual documents and phone calls to the IRS. This is about the outcome. And that's what I think is really important to take away from today. And the other big thing that you've mentioned, Eric, is that when you can become detached from the outcome and you can do your best to guide and serve your client, it's called having a servant mindset. When we can serve more and be committed to their dreams and their outcomes and you solving a problem, that speaks so much more than, oh, here's this pen or here's this car. The car is the vehicle. It's the feeling about how you've done that. And yes, like Eric said, I've helped, I think, over 172 firm owners now, not only double their revenue, but win back their freedom and time and confidence. And, my clients have generated over 10 million of additional revenue in their firms. So I definitely think I know what I'm talking about.
Yes, no, because they're helping people save money. We're resolving people's problems. Remember, again, as Michelle said, they're not buying the thing. They're buying what the thing can do.
Correct.
Right? For instance, I go out and I buy a drill bit. I don't want a drill bit. I want a hole.
Correct.
Right? I'm not buying the drill bit because I like the drill bit. I don't care about the drill bit. I care about the hole that it makes in the wall that I got to hang the thing. All right. Yes. So that messaging is don't get caught up in the minutia. It's what you can do for the person. All right. And when you understand that and do that, selling is a piece of cake. And so listen, for those of you interested, and Michelle, thank you for doing this. I'm going to put a link in the description.
Yeah. It's theabundantcall.com if you want to explore more with me and my team. Mm-hmm. So that's the website that they can go to, theabundantcall.com.
And we've had a whole bunch of tax rep members go and take Michelle up on her training. And so with that, everyone, thank you for joining us this week. Michelle, thank you as always.
Oh, I can talk about this all day, Eric. You just have to stop me, because that's why you're not afraid of selling. That's why I'm not afraid. And many of your tax rep members are no longer afraid and getting paid up front and doubling their fees and increasing their fees. And getting so detached from that, you can't serve everybody and help everybody, but you can qualify and work with the exact quality clients that you deserve. You just have to work on some of the belief systems. Eric, thank you so much for being here with us today on The Abundant Accountant. It's always an honor to have you here, and I love that you reached out so we could have this conversation today. For those people that want to learn tax representation and learn from your genius, how do they find you?
Taxrepllc.com. All right. Is where our community is. And, thank you for taking the time and doing this. It's always fun.
It's always fun. We'll have to do it again really, really soon.
Of course.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for joining Eric and I today on another amazing episode here at the Abundant Accountant podcast on why neither of us are afraid of selling and why knowing your outcome and the results that you deliver for a client and knowing their pain points and really getting through some of your self-beliefs and sales beliefs is the number one thing. And I want to just cut to the chase. If you want our support on how to do that, we will show you the secrets to raise your fees by as much as 200%, start getting paid up front, and increase your monthly recurring revenue right now without working more hours, without taking on more clients, or even losing a single client that you have. And I will show you how to do all this without discounting fees, sending quotes or proposals, and while cutting down on your working hours so you can have more time to spend with your family and enjoy your life. All you need to do is head on over to theabundantcall.com to book your free breakthrough session with me and my team. So once again, head on over to theabundantcall.com to schedule your free breakthrough session with myself and my team. And we look forward to speaking with you soon. Have a beautiful day.